Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's the Jade Gemini. This afternoon I'm super excited to bring you a review of this guy right here. This is the Hawkrigger Straps Airborne O-Rig T11. And today what I'm going to be doing is just be kind of going over its features, talk to you what I really like about this watch, as well as maybe some of the cons about this watch strap, overall, and also compare it to some other styles of straps. So I think actually I'm going to get that part out of the way right away. It's kind of walk you through the story of straps as far as a watch enthusiast, as far as this new style that I've come into liking. So first, standard watch strap, right? We have a Citizen here, gorgeous, airborne vintage styling, but it comes on just a standard two-piece strap. This can be nylon, this one is rubber, right? They could be just made in 100 different types, but this is kind of the de facto for the standard style strap that you're going to find on a watch. And this is fine, it's comfortable, the watch sits directly on your wrist, right? So there's no gap there. But the main part about this kind of strap is that if one of the spring bars underneath that actually hold the strap on was to break, the watch would fall off your wrist, possibly break and get damaged. So this is where the first sort of rendition to solve this problem happened with the NATO style strap. So when I'm just getting into watches and I'm watching content creators like one of my favorite TGV, the Urban Gentry, introduced me to the NATO style strap, which is very popular nowadays. So the NATO style strap was made here with a couple things. It actually has this keeper that's on the bottom and then the main strap that feeds into the watch. And so this keeps the watch from sliding back and forth, keeps it in place, hence the name keeper. But the main idea here is that if one of the spring bars was to break, because the strap feeds both behind the watch like this through a single piece, if one of these straps breaks, you would still have the watch secured because, let's say it was the bottom one broke and it was still on your wrist, it would just kind of flap back and forth until you're able to get a new spring bar. But you wouldn't lose your timekeeping device, which in the field or in the military, which is the sort of philosophy or idea where this was born, you'd keep your watch. Now continue forward a little bit more, and I learned about a more exotic strap, the Marine Nationale type strap that I have, you can see right here. So in that same exact way of design, the Marine Nationale strap goes, as you can see, behind both spring bars. So if one of them was to break, you would still retain your watch. It also has this kind of unique buckle system that actually hooks in like so on this NDC, which uses genuine military surplus paracord. The Marine Nationale straps were made originally from the French commando forces, water frogmen, and they would cut their paracord and feed it behind and put it on their wrist. The other great thing is that it's stretchy, so elastic, so if you are to swell or you were to put this over a diving suit, as you go down and it expands, it would expand too. So very, very cool design here, a lot of heritage and history. But there are some negatives to all of these in a way. And I feel like what I've come across here with the Hawkrigger really helps eliminate some of those negatives. So let's jump right in. So the Hawkrigger strap is a nylon style strap that actually has a combination with this O-ring retaining system of a friction fit system that has sort of a slip joint or a tension slip system here that actually tensions itself, and you can easily pull up and release that tension, and then that enables you to adjust or take off the strap. So What happens is unlike a lot of straps that go like this, that have double thick nylon on the back, this only has one piece of nylon. So you're still having that benefit of the watch strap being secured, and if one of the spring bars on the back was to break, you would be fine, you would retain your watch. But one of the benefits over a lot of these other systems, like the NATO, right, or like the Marine Nationale strap, is the fact that it's just a single piece of nylon. Now, you could say, what if you get just a single pass-through? Well, that makes sense, and that's a good, argument. But the main thing that I also really like about this is that this is infinitely adjustable, which is something that, as a big problem when you order NATOs, especially a lot of the time if you get a cheap NATO or even the more expensive ones, the holes are never really lined up. So I have a big problem where you buy one and it fits perfect. You buy another and it's way too tight or way too loose. You just cannot get it right. But the way that this works with this friction system, once you slide your wrist into this section here, you simply hold your finger down up on this and you slowly pull. You pull the slack until you get to a point where it starts to become a little tight, and you can wear it just like this loose, right? Or if you want it completely snug so your watch doesn't move at all, you can get it just right. Then what happens is this keeper, so think in the same way that this has keepers of the strap here and a watch strap keeper, so think of this side of the NATO strap, the keepers that you usually stuff the excess back into the watch works the same way. So you stuff the watch here into this keeper, which is also adjustable, which I'll show you. And then they cut it like this at this zigzag, so you can stuff the longer end in first underneath. And then as you're stuffing it in underneath, you kind of give a shimmy and a wiggle, and it starts. You can see it right in there. And it starts, and then you kind of fold it under there, and it's secure. It doesn't move around, and just a little sticks out here. And the cool thing is if it's a little too tight at this point, you got it too tight, you can just simply pull up on this. It gives a little bit of, loosens things a little bit until you can get it just right. You can also do the same and kind of pull on it here and pull things through and get it a little tighter, get it just right. But it's really, really comfortable system because of that on the wrist, and it's practically infinitely adjustable because of that. The other great thing about this system here is that because of the way that it is made, if you have something like this, something like a Tudor Pelagos, I think it's UXD, or this Bertucci that has forged spring bars, or spring bars that maybe can come off but have to come off with the tool that are kind of inconvenient, very much in the fashion of the NATO, where you can just slip it out instead of having to get a spring bar, worrying about the spring bar slipping, scratching the side of your watch or the top or bottom of the lug, bending it somewhere, making it where it dings these sides here or scratches up the back. You can take the whole entire thing apart. So we'll kind of do that now. Slip this off, and then you just pull out this side easily, not too hard, right, like this. And then the part that is a little bit more tedious if you do it this way, but this is good so I can show you how it actually all works, is you push this NATO through the keeper through one side, pull it out. Takes a little bit of time, isn't as quick as, hey, I want a dash and I want to change my NATO so it matches my outfit, so bang, I'm changing it in a fraction of a second while I'm heading out the door and I got one shoe on. And it's not that quick, right? As you can see, it takes a little bit more love and a little bit more care, but it's nothing too extreme as a whole. So now that the keeper's off, I can simply, like a NATO, unstuff one side and pull out the other. And so now I have a watch, right? Like so. And I've got the strap. And the strap, really cool. Just kind of looking at the packaging here, is really simple. You just get a cool little sticker inside that comes with it, Hawkrigger. You get kind of like a thank you card to look at their Instagram, and that's really it. And then you also get like the specifications here of the color, green and red. The wrist size, which is cool. They have a range between 6 inch to 7 inch, I think 7.5 to 8.5, and then 8 to 9 is large. And then you pick your lug width as well. So pretty simple, straightforward. Once you have it, I haven't needed to cut or adjust this at all. But this is basically how it comes, right? You can even take this off if you wanted to. But this is a good point to kind of show you. Here's the keeper and the loop ring of the keeper, and then the adjustment of this. And then here's the other side, as you can see it as well. And this is like one piece, so it cannot come apart. It's stitched really well, has this loop here for the tension system, as you can see. So essentially, what you would do to adjust everything here is you would take your keeper. You'd first put the watch on, and you would stuff it all the way through until you get to this dual material section, where this material of the nylon meets this section here, which is actually inspired by the airborne dive-in utility bags that they put on the top of their vest. They're this bright red. They also come in different colors as well, but that's why I picked this one, because this actually has a red backlight, so it kind of is all themed in that sort of tactical commando, but also hints with the red, right? But as you can see, I've got it stuffed in basically as much as it will go, and then I put it this side. So now it's tensioned and it's taut, easy. So then the next part is that you would put on the keeper. So it's bent, as you can see. So that part would go in your wrist, and the side that, is obtuse, right, would go out, and the acute side of the angle would go in towards your wrist. So it follows the contour of the wrist, kind of like that. So I'm going to stuff it in like so from the bottom until, for me, I set it right here, and I'll kind of show you why. Oh, no, I got that right. So now you can see this keeper ring is like this, so I'm going to stuff it through. So it basically is going to make kind of like a U-turn in here, right? Until it's all the way taut. And I'm just going to put it back where I had it originally, because that was kind of a perfect spot for me. But you'll kind of tinker with this. And then I'm going to stuff it back down. So now, as you can see, with the system here, it goes from where you stuffed it in, and you actually put the buckle on the bottom lugs, goes through the top lugs, then through the keeper. And as you can see, there's not a big amount of space. There's only 1 inch for me here, or so. So then it goes in, it immediately takes a U-turn through this, which also keeps this at bay now that it's kind of captured. You can't really turn this off. And then it goes back down into this side. And then it's now heading back towards your wrist. Now, so this is the point where you can adjust it. If you set it on your wrist, this should be right about here. So in line with where your joint is of your thumb is where this should be, what they showed in the video. And then this should be right at about the point, roughly, of where your joint is at its lowest part here. So now when everything's strapped up, you can see they're almost in the same place here on both sides. And again, this is all up to, some of this is up to how you like it as well, but this is just from where the tutorial was in the video and kind of eyeballing how it felt. But now that I've got this keeper about where it's gonna, feel comfortable, right? Then I'm going to, you can see if you lay it like this, there is the side that has almost 2 openings, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm first gonna stuff it in to the loop opening closest to the red fabric, and then I'm going to simply turn it around and stuff it back. And this is where that friction starts to happen. So now that I've got it here, it's basically all made. And so what you would do is you would, just like I showed you at the beginning, slide it over like a ring, put your wrist through the hole, and then you would pull and it starts to tension it until it gets perfectly the tautness or tightness that you like it, and then you simply stuff it back on through like so, and then you push it back on with the pointy end first, the longer end first, and then shimmy it back and forth until it's able to slide in, and then you sort of stuff it with your finger in there until all that extra material of the nylon here is stuffed in between these two layers. And you kind of pinch on the side to get everything centered, and you're done. Perfect. So now, as you can see, you have a little loop hanging up here, but when you look at it from the top, you only see this and this, so you don't get a big shark's tail or extra amount sticking up like you would get with a NATO strap or like a rubber dive strap that has extra sticking out. This is perfect, right? So that's how it works. Now, with this system, some of the cons is that, one, it takes a little bit extra to put on. It's not just you find a loop and you put it in, right? So even taking it off and putting it on, like you saw, I took my ring off so I didn't like bash anything on the side when I take it off and on, and it's kind of, putting it through the stiff little hole. Is it the end of any worlds? No, but it is something that I've even noticed, like, hey, it's kind of annoying, kind of a con. Again, not the biggest deal in the world, but it is a con all the same, something to kind of note. The other thing, as you can see, there's some different steps, so that could be complex, and until you kind of get it memorized how it all works, something to keep in mind when compared to a NATO that's really simple. Just slip it in, put in the keeper, put it on your wrist, right? So something else to keep in mind. I do feel once you get it all set up, it is easier than the strap on the NDC here, which you've got to kind of do a little bit of holding this here like this and then pulling this and then kind of pinching it and then getting the edge in. And I mean, I've gotten used to it, so it's gotten easier, but it used to be really hard for me, sometimes taking up to multiple minutes just to get it on, right? So just something to keep in mind there as well. Also, unlike the NDC, where I don't really like to take this off and then do it the single loop way, one thing that is good is it is that single pass through where you can take everything apart as you saw and slip it onto a watch without having to take the lug bars off if you don't have a lug bar tool, or around you you don't have you don't have the ability because it's again made in to the bars itself. But it does take some time to swap the straps. It is a con overall. So what I would say is the good things, since those are kind of the cons out of the way, the good things is the build quality is exceptional. The top of quality. It feels special. It feels new, unique, right? It has feels like it's definitely going to be there's nothing else like this. And they have multiple things with different attachment systems, which are unique too. So I'm going to pick up more of their straps in the future. But everything is well made, uses the top of quality, has this nice unanimous bead blasting, this embossed, pressed in label right here. And it's just cool. If you post this, people are going to say, what is that strap? You know what I mean? Infinitely adjustable, again, has the ability to go on even if you don't have a spring bar tool, which is a big pro. It's pretty much universal across any sort of watch, which is a really, really great thing. And the price, I think, is pretty respectful. Sometimes when you get into unique watch straps, right, it's a situation that you happen to pay a lot of money. I think I paid around $70 for the NDC because it was unique and it was the genuine, original, and the Ericas as well, which is kind of like that you're going to get the NDC or the Ericas as the top two, right? Now there are a lot of third-party brands that are making them as well, right? My homies over at Long Island Watch, Mark has his own, and there's some other companies as well that make them. But I think you know, again, it's usually around $70 to have some of the standard ones and even get into the 80s and stuff like that. Long story short, this is $50, $54, right? For something that you can buy and it's going to last you a lifetime and be unique, go across multiple ranges of a watch. I think that that's a really fair price for something that you are getting here. So I think you have reliability, uniqueness, a story to tell, infinite adjustability, universality universal across basically any 20 millimeter or 21 millimeter. They also have all the sizes, which is a benefit as well. You know, and again, just something that is unlike anything else. I think that the Hawkrigger is an amazing strap that deserves a lot more attention. They also have other versions, again, or even a dual version. If you don't like this asymmetrical, you can have it where it has the red on both sides and works a little differently. But yeah, definitely this is not going to be the only strap from them that you see. There's going to be more to come. So struggling to get this on, but I hope you guys did enjoy this video, as I enjoyed making it and I've been excited to go ahead and bring you this product. Naturally, if you guys do have any sort of questions about this, or, you know, again, any of the other straps that you've seen in the video, please feel free to comment down below, as I love to see you guys, you know, fellowshipping and asking any sort of questions. And yeah, boy, that does look just incredible. But yeah, I can't thank you enough for just taking time to go ahead and watch this video. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. If you do like this kind of content, please feel free to like and subscribe, as it does help grow the channel, and there's plenty of more watch content to go ahead and come in the future. Thank you so much for taking time to watch my little channel. Have a great rest of your week. Peace.